2K, like many other Western sports game publishers out there, push out NBA games every year like clockwork, and with good reason. People buy them. Now, while the Switch version of the game is definitely not on the same level as its PS4 or Xbox One brethren, it still hits the system every year with more or less the same updates that are found elsewhere. Now, can the same be said about NBA 2K20 on the Switch, especially if you're just coming off of NBA 2K20? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Today, we're taking a look at NBA 2K21 on the Nintendo Switch. Modes, now with a focus on my career, visuals, performance, and just generally if this game is worth your cash. Now, of course, as with all modern NBA 2K games, you kind of know what to expect here. Quick play will get you right into a game of basketball, while other modes like the neighborhood, my team, my GM, and my league also make a return here. For me, though, I always spend a majority of my time with my career, which will be the main focus of discussion here. Now, before I get into that, it's obvious that there is definitely something for everyone here in terms of modes. Now, gameplay at its core also remains the same, no matter which mode you're playing. The neighborhood did get a bit of an enhancement here, this time being located on a beachfront, bringing it kind of like a different look than what we've seen over years. So, I mean, that's cool for people that are really into that. So it's something a little bit different there. Now, my career puts you into the role of Junior in a story beat called The Long Shadow. Now, here you're working your way up through high school and then college to get to the NBA, all while being compared to your basketball legend father's legacy. Now, honestly, when it comes to the story, I think that this is probably one of the best story modes that NBA 2K has had in a long time. Just for the record, I really didn't like NBA 2K18. The story with DJ and his leech friend always eating the Reese's peanut butter puffs. That was always kind of annoying to me. But, you know, sure, even with this story, there are some cliche things here and there. But Junior actually seems like someone with his head on straight for the most part. Now, unlike a lot of leads from previous games, he just seems like a more down-to-earth character, which is something that many of you, and I know myself, can probably relate to. Well done. Now, while this might seem kind of like a no-duh kind of thing, I like the fact that NBA 2K21 puts you on a traditional route to go to the NBA. Basically high school to college, and then, you know, you go on to the pros. Now, in this mode here, you'll get to play a handful of games in both of these, high school and college, which I actually found quite enjoyable. The atmosphere in both the high school and college levels are pretty realistic, and it was generally pretty fun to play. Now, once you get into college, you do have the option to skip through straight to the draft if you want to, but I opted to grind it out over just a handful of games that were there, and, you know, my team, we eventually made it to the national championship. Now, I think this was a great way to make players feel like they're actually accomplishing something before getting into the long grind that will be their NBA career. Player progression in 2K21 is by and large the same as what it was in 2K20, and in my opinion, that's a good thing. Now, when creating your character, you can select from a number of different builds and then expand upon them, basically with the more experience that you get. Now, while playing in my career during high school and college, you likely won't get too much experience, but you'll be raking it in by the time you go pro, which makes the game overall just more enjoyable as your ability to make plays increases dramatically. The controls here in 2K21 are different. Now, like many of you, I've gotten used to the control scheme when it comes to shooting and timing and like all that over the years. Now, this year, 2K felt it was necessary to change things up a bit with the Pro Stick. Now, in the past, using the right analog stick was an option to shoot. Now, this time around, you still can shoot with the stick, but now you're also able to pull off a variety of dribbling moves as well. To be honest with you, typically my build of players are small outside perimeter shooters, so I'm one of the players who would usually use the face buttons to shoot. Now, I changed it up a little bit this year, though, making a character that I wanted to be more of an inside scorer. Now, while I did practice in the 2KU with some of the god-level pros and no defense on me, it was relatively easy to pull up the moves there. Now, I could see why some of these changes could make playing offense a bit more fresh. However, when playing actual games with my character early on, Scrubby Scrub, it was pretty tough to wrap my head around the Pro Stick with the shooting controls. And, you know, more often than not, my shots would be off balance or just flat out miss. Now, granted, I'm not like the best 2K player in the world or anything like that, but this system seems like it needs a bit of fine-tuning before I'd actually venture to say it's actually good. Now, defense feels a bit tighter here, though, but to me, it seems mostly the same. Blocking seems to have gotten a bit of an upgrade, but with my small build of character, blocks usually aren't like my strong point or like what I'm focusing on, because my character just usually can't do it too well. From a visual standpoint, not much has really changed between NBA 2K20 and NBA 2K21 on the Switch. Now, it could even be argued that not a whole lot has really changed since the series released on the Switch back in 2017 with NBA 2K18. Now, regardless, you probably know what to expect here. It's a decent-looking game that lacks the frills of the PS4 or Xbox One versions when it comes to visual fidelity. Personally, I'm not bothered all that much by this. The game still plays fine in both handheld and docked, and still gives a great NBA experience on the court. Now, I did come across some glitches during my time with 2K21 on the Switch, especially during the My Career Mode cutscenes. Now, while the gameplay portions of the experience were by and large fine, there was some noticeable lag and stuttering, and it seemed to get worse when there are more characters on the screen here too. And it seemed to happen in scenes that were away from the court here too. I mean, things like this, there's something that can more than likely be fixed in a patch, but man, having something like this look this unpolished at launch is just plain bad. Now, something I wanted to mention here too, the face scan also makes a return here to the surprise of no one, and honestly, while my character does look kind of like me, there's definitely something wrong with the eyes here. The eyelids just seem way too thick, and it basically just kind of crowds out the actual eyes of my character, just making them look weird. It's not a huge deal overall, I guess, but this is just something I'd love to see improved upon. I'm not going to hold my breath for it, though, especially with the Switch version, as more and more resources and time are probably going into next gen. As it stands right now, NBA 2K21 is a tough sell on the Switch. Now, I get that 2K feels the need to push out their games every year. That's just something that probably won't change. Now, I know this will never happen, but I think it'd be great to see 2K go for a 2-year approach when it comes to releases. Now, Konami does this in Japan with a couple of different baseball series they have over here. It's Power Pro Baseball and Pro Baseball Spirits. Now, basically what they do, they release a game, support it for 2 years with updates and all that type of stuff, and then move on to the next iteration after that. And, I think this is great for fans, as they can get more bang for their buck, and at the same time, it can also actually benefit developers and publishers, as it kind of gives them more time to make a quality product that can bring something truly new and innovative in terms of features or something like that to their games. Like I said, I doubt this is going to happen, but man, I think it'd be cool to see more Western developers do something like this. Now, the changes to gameplay in 2K21 on the Switch and just in current gen feel like they were just added to tick a few boxes to give the illusion that 2K is offering something new here. Now, with the possibility of updates fixing some of the issues with the visuals that I talked about here, honestly, you might want to stay clear of this game until it's clear that that stuff's taken care of. The new shooting mechanics here, though, it's something that just might be a thing that we're going to have to get used to, and I'm just not quite there yet. So unless you're really pining for some new story beats in the My Career mode, I'd say steer clear of 2K21 or just wait for a sale on this one. As always, thanks for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to give us a like. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We got tons of podcasts, video reviews, special videos, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.